What's going on, everybody? Ask Adam here. So, if you watched any of my videos pre-TU8, most of them were build videos, and a lot of them were skill build videos. And I really like to dig into the numbers behind the scenes and things like that. And I know a lot of people like those types of videos. But today, I'm actually going to try to branch out a little bit and do a video talking about certain aspects of the game that are kind of affecting our enjoyment of the game. Not to rant, that's not my style, but just to discuss the different systems and things that are going on inside the game currently. And I really want to get your feedback on these. I want to know what you think about them. So anyway, today I want to discuss loot, and specifically gear dropping with rainbow stats. And when I say rainbow stats, I mean something like an Overlord mask, which is of course a red core attribute. But then it ends up having a secondary blue attribute and then a third attribute that's yellow. Just a piece that you're absolutely not going to use. So I've been doing a lot of reading lately on the forums and on Reddit and things like that. And I have just noticed an overabundance of people talking about the loot and how it's dropping. And I know RNG is RNG, of course, but really my question is, does it have to be? What level of RNG do we really need to keep the game interesting? It is a looter shooter, so there has to be RNG. But at what point is it overkill? At what point is farming for loot just too damned hard? So the reason I even brought this up is I was reading on the forums, and someone named Riflemania broached the subject. And the feedback there was pretty unanimous that the loot drops are pretty bad. And in the post he was talking about how after patch 8.5 that the loot quality has gone down significantly. And I tend to agree with him, actually. I have noticed, and I've actually said to myself, I remember getting much better loot, prior, right when 8.0 came out, when TU8 came out. I felt like the loot was way better than it is now. Now, I don't know that I'm saying that there was some type of stealth nerf. I'm just saying that I think something changed. Whether they meant it to change or not, I just feel like something has changed with the loot. So, what are your guys' thoughts on getting 3 different attributes on a piece of gear? Something different than the core. You've got your core attribute for each different type of armor that you can get, but then having on top of that 4 different sets of RNG. In the case of a backpack and chest, 5 different sets of RNG in getting that gear drop. So those pieces of RNG, you're talking about, okay, is it going to be red, yellow, blue? Which type of red, yellow, blue? And then how much red, yellow, blue? I feel like in a lot of cases, that's too much RNG. So I've been really giving this a fair amount of thought, and I think the solution, in my mind anyway, would be to make one of the secondary attributes roll the same as the core attribute. Just one of them. So the amount would still be, of course, RNG. So you'd still have that piece of RNG to it. And the third attribute that rolls would also be RNG. But just as an example, say you get a yellow drop of, Hanayu or whatever. Hanayu is probably a bad example because that's almost like they were trying to make a hybrid set because it has, I think, skill damage, skill haste, and then weapon damage on it, which I didn't think was supposed to be kind of a thing, but whatever. That's just one set. Most of the sets are really geared towards one stat or another. But anyway, so say you get a yellow core attribute. Your secondary attribute would also be yellow. And then the third attribute would be total RNG. But at that point, if you have 2 yellows, you can re-roll that third into another yellow. And you always have that option to get a full piece of gear. Now, your second attribute may roll pretty low, so it still may not be usable. But at least if you didn't have a piece and you were like, I really need this piece, the second attribute was pretty crappy roll, but I can roll the third attribute and it'll be good. So then I have a moderately usable piece of gear. Whereas now, if you have a red, yellow, blue, it's darn near unusable. There's no reason to ever use it because with their trying to make this kind of a class system, you're not going to hybrid spec. And if you did, you could still do that if you had two of the same kind. If you had two yellows and you wanted to hybrid spec into a red, you could still roll crit damage on it. So that's really my thought behind that. I really feel like they should make it to where, you know, two attributes, whatever core attribute you get another of the same type. And I think that would be plenty of RNG overall. So what do you guys think about that? What do you think? How do you feel about the loot right now? How do you feel like it's dropping? Have you had a lot of those drops where it's just an unusable piece of crap? Because honestly, I really thought, I swear to God, they said that loot was going to drop less, but they're going to be better rolls. And I find myself with still a full stash because I'm like, well, maybe I might use that piece sometime, but probably not because it doesn't have, you know, the stats I'm looking for, or they're not high enough rolled or whatever. But, you know, and it's really kind of frustrating to me to get a roll, and it happens almost always, where one stat will be maxed, but it will have absolutely nothing to do with that piece of gear. Again, you know, an Overlord armament with a full, you know, status effect roll on it. I'm not going to put that on a rifle build. Nobody would. Anyway, that's really all I got for today. Let me know. Give me some feedback on what your thoughts are on the RNG of the game right now and what they could do to fix it. All right, thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you later. Bye.